Welcome to the May 24th, 2022 Board of Selectmen meeting. It is 6 p.m. And tonight we are welcoming and congratulating two new members to our Select Board, Ms. Ann Rain and Mr. Ed Heel. Congratulations and welcome. And right now I will call an order to and a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Weeks, would you mind reading the announcements?
Yes, absolutely. So announcements. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the newly revitalized Bylaws Committee and the Capital Improvement Committee. I want to put extra emphasis on the need for volunteers for the Capital Improvement Committee because under our bylaws, we need to have a quorum for the Capital Improvement Committee to meet. And as of right now, we do not have enough members to have a quorum. And that's important for the town, especially come into October town meeting as we're trying to put together a budget, revise budgets, and take on capital plans and tasks, because we cannot present a budget or go for ask for anything over $35,000 unless the Capital Improvement Committee meets, places it on the matrix, and is allowing the town to vet these projects at town meeting. Right now, it's only one other member and myself. We need at least 3 or 4 other members to be able to meet a quorum. So of the committees that are available, which there are many more that we would like people to be a part of, the Capital Improvement Committee is really vital to the fundamental operation of the government, of town government. So I'm pleading for folks to be able to join that committee and be part of that. Other announcements, we need volunteer applications, may be found on the town website at www.hanson-ma.gov or by calling the Selectmen's office at 781-293-2131. And the Hanson Town Clerk's office will be closed Wednesday, June 8th at noon, and will be closed all day Thursday, June 9th for a clerk's conference. And we have 2 upcoming meetings, the Select Board's meeting June 14th, 2022, and another one on June 28th, 2022.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
And so under new business, we've welcomed our 2 new members. Again, welcome Ann Rain and Ed Heel, and congratulations. And next order of business is a reorganization of the Select Board. At this time, I would like to call for nominations for chair.
I nominate myself for chair.
I second.
We have a nomination and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to nominate myself for chair also.
Do we have a second?
I will second it.
It's
Okay.
all right, Joe, you don't have to.
No.
You don't have to, Joe. That's okay. I withdraw my nomination.
You withdraw, Mr. Hickey? Okay. So we have a nomination for Ms. Kemet, Selectman Kemet for chair. We have a second. I will ask for a vote. Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Ms. Rain?
Aye.
Mr. Heel?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
I'll abstain.
Abstain.
I'm allowed to vote also on this, Lisa.
Ms.
Yep.
Kemet?
I'd be an aye. Thank you.
4-0.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Madam Chair. And at this point, I will pass the gavel to you.
Okay.
And go forward with nominations for vice chair.
With that, I will entertain a nomination for vice chair.
Come on.
I'll nominate myself if no one's going to nominate.
I would nominate you. I would nominate you.
I mean,
I would
just so
nominate-
people don't have to stare at
I'll
him.
second it. I'll second it.
Okay. Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. Then I will take a vote. Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Ms. Kemet? Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Rain? And do you want to be
Oh.
referred to as Miss or Mrs. Rain?
I am Mrs. Rain.
Okay.
I am.
And Mr. Heel?
Ed.
Okay. Ed?
Yes,
Okay.
Ed Heel, aye.
Okay, and Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Okay, and then I will entertain a nomination for the ever-popular clerk, which gets to read the announcements.
Who's got the best voice? Who's got the radio
All they
voice?
do is
They,
read the
that's
announcements?
essentially, what they
I'm
do.
not taking minutes?
No,
No.
no, that's what Lucia does.
I don't mind at all. I nominate myself.
Okay, I second that. Okay, then, any other nominations for that enviable position? Okay. I feel like I've prejudiced the audience here, but, okay, then, Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Ms. Kemet, aye. Mrs. Rain?
Aye.
And you don't want to, you want me to
Mr.
call you?
Hill.
Okay, Mr. Hill, okay,
Aye.
okay, and Mr. Hickman, okay. Okay, then with that, the treasurer-collector agreement, may I, cue that up to you, Ms. Green?
Yes. As the board recalls, our treasurer collector, her contract was due to expire June 30th of 2022. She had expressed some interest in extending that contract for 6 months while we look for a new treasurer collector. Due to recent circumstances, she has opted to renew her contract for 1 year, which the board voted to adopt, to accept her proposal for salary and her stipends for her certifications, vacation time, and a 1-year extension, which the board all signed. So we would just like to announce in the open session that we have entered into a 1-year contract with our treasurer collector through June 30 of 2023. And it is available on the website on the town administrator page. If you go to that page, there is a little block on the left that says contracts. If you click on that, you will find all the contracts that we currently have executed and are ratified.
And Ms. Green, I know it is available on the website, and I appreciate you saying that, but I think prospectively, for transparency, obviously, I don't want you to have to read, multi-pages, but for instance, I think it's important to say what the term of the contract was and what the salary increase was, just so that people understand what was being voted.
I can get that information for you in 1 second.
All right, that would be great. And this isn't on the agenda, but one thing that I kind of wanted everybody to think about for the next meeting is we'll ask Lucia and Lisa to go through and figure out with Kenny's departure and Matt's departure, what openings there are on committees. You're certainly not limited to that if there's something else that really interests you. But we really do try to have a selectman or select board member, I guess we're being called now, on every, on certain committees. And then what I really would like to do going forward is do a better job of bringing the committee information back to the whole board. Somehow in the last year, we have not been doing that. We haven't been talking about what's going on with, economic development or, we periodically, but we really should be getting in the habit of keeping each other updated so we all kind of have the same, mostly the same information. Do you guys feel okay about that going forward?
Oh, I'm fine with that. I would just add one thing while I'm thinking of it, if you don't mind, because you just jogged my memory. We should also have a wage and personnel committee, scheduled, sooner than later, because we have to reorganize that too.
Yes,
Yes,
that's it.
next,
Yep.
the next meeting on the 14th.
Thank you.
June 14th. There will be, I'm sorry, yes, 14th.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, we will have a wage and personnel.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to provide information on the terms of the contract. So her salary, all the employees received a 2% increase. So her salary with the 2% increase is $87,521. Again, the contract is, the term is from July 1 of 2022 through June 30 of 2023. She is certified as a treasurer collector. She's certified as a treasurer, she's certified as a collector. So with that, any of the department heads or assistant department heads that had a certification get a $1,000 stipend. So she receives a $2,000 stipend, which she will receive $1,000 July 1, and then she will receive $1,000 on January 1 of 2023. Her, basically, hours of work are 35 hours as town hall's open. She receives 25 days of vacation, which is not unusual for someone who's been here for many, many years. She also, she has the sick leave. She's entitled to, personal days. She gets 3 personal days. All of the holidays, which this year includes Juneteenth, which is the first year that it's recognized as a state and federal holiday. So Town Hall will be closed on June 20th. That's the date it's celebrated. Bereavement leave, they get, and treasurer collectors and anyone who works in a treasurer collector's office, they're bonded. So the town pays for those bonds, for them, and she's entitled to insurance benefits, medical, dental, also professional development. The town will pay for any dues and subscriptions that require for treasurer collector. And then it just talks about terms of any type of removal, from her position, with the proper hearings and procedures that are required.
All right, thank you, Ms. Green. We've got a liquor license for July 29th. In the past, we used to put names down, but we found that was anticlimactic for people that might be doing surprise parties. So we just sort of put like engagement party, but we don't put a name. But if you want that information, you can always ask our town administrator. So I will entertain a motion to approve the July 29th Celebration of Life liquor license.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Ms. Green, that would bring us to your town administrator report.
Yes, all right. Madam Chair, Vice Chair. So, it's gonna be a little short this week, since we had a meeting last week and then I was off, Thursday and Friday trying to use up some well-earned time. But we, last meeting, we had, a presentation by Tetra Tech. Ron Mauricio is the foreman with Tetra Tech, and they did a presentation on the fireworks site. That is the contaminated site that's, most of it's located in Hanover, part of it is located in Hanson. Up until now, most of the work was being done in Hanover. DEP recently took some samples of the sediment in the water bodies that are close to, in Hanson, and they did find that there is more munitions, there is some lead and mercury that they found in the sediment. So they've devised a plan for cleanup for those areas that include lowering the water levels, bringing in a barge for floating. So they presented this plan.
Excuse me, Lisa, also, most importantly, draining Factory Pond. If you don't mind me just butting skiing.
Nope,
For
absolutely.
1 second. And if you guys, and I normally would never say, go back and watch one of our meetings, but.
I actually know a little bit about
Okay,
this. Yeah.
so if you haven't watched that meeting, it was a good presentation. Also, there was a hearing, a forum that we had a couple of years ago with the same gentleman, so a lot of that same information, because we're gonna have to really get up to speed because, we've just gotten this ball volleyed into our court, in a big way, because he's saying that a lot more of it is in Hanson than they ever suspected. And of course, Hanover's been driving the bus.
I've gotta ask,
Yes.
isn't that why Landers had to rebuild that dam? Because they can't let the sediment from Factory
That's part,
Pond
yes.
cut loose down,
Yes.
it goes right into the
Yes.
North River.
Of course, they weren't completely
I know,
forthcoming with
I know.
the details about that, but now
Yeah.
looking back
now we know.
forensically, it all makes a lot of sense. They were great to come, but this sort of got us talking about how do we have our voice heard? So Ms. Green, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, so what we did was, I looked into some grants, because obviously the town doesn't have the funds to bring on a consultant. And we have a 19-hour-a-week, conservation agent, and this is going to require a lot more than that. So, fortunately, there is a, technical assistance grant out there for site cleanups, that was just announced. They're having a webinar actually on June 14th. And I happen to know an LSP, licensed site professional, Tracy Costa. She's with Environmental Strategies and Management. So I reached out with her. I've worked with her a lot on sites in Whitman. So I reached out to her to ask her, she's very knowledgeable in grants, and environmental issues. And she did know about this grant that was just announced by the state. The application is not open yet, but she's going to attend the webinar on our behalf, because I'll be here with the selectmen. And as soon as that application opens up, we're going to fill it out and submit it, so that we can hire her firm, to be our consultant during this whole process. So that would be very, very good, because this doesn't come with a cheap price tag, so this grant will be great. And so this morning, we held a department head meeting, which we hadn't had in a little while, because with the departure of our prior administrative assistant, I was alone in the office for a little bit. And then when Lucia came on board and COVID, so there's been a little hiatus with department head meetings. But we finally had a department head meeting this morning. We utilized Camp Kawani, the lodge. And Ann Donner, who's going to be developing a strategic plan with us, introduced herself and introduced the plan to the department heads. We talked about basically what her vision is of how she's gonna go about with the strategic plan. And she'll be sending information out to all the department heads. And we also just brought up some things going around, the town regarding, private roads. They've become really an area that we wanna focus on how we, come to a resolution of what to do with private roads, because we're very limited under the law of what we can do with private roads. We had some discussion on that. And 2 weeks ago, I attended the Mass Municipal Human Resources Boot Camp 101, and very, very crucial information is provided to us. And basically, they brought us through a human resources audit, which at any time, a state agency that does anything with personnel and human resources could come in and ask to audit our files to see if we have the right forms and things like that. So we talked a little bit about human resources and personnel procedures regarding queries, regarding FMLA paperwork, and just other things. Human resources is an area we need to pay much attention to, because it is an area that could bring some legal issues to the town, and we want to mitigate that as much as possible. And then I just want to, again, congratulate and welcome our new members. I look forward to working with you. I'm basically at your disposal, so please, anything I can do to help you on board, bring you up to speed on anything, I am here for you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Green, I assume that we've done everything we can to get our new members' emails, email addresses for the town, and whatever other information, and hopefully our town clerk has gotten you guys the little select board. If not, she will.
I left mine, I've left my pamphlet upstairs or somewhere.
She'll know.
It came in, tonight, I put it somewhere tonight.
Oh.
I just realized I don't have
we'll
it in front of me.
We'll get it to you.
I think
We'll
it's
get
on
it to you.
your office, on
Okay.
that shelf. I
We'll
think.
get it right
Ms.
back to
Green,
you.
could we get an update on the cell tower, going online, and on the ZBA investigation, whether you've heard anything? I don't know if you have.
So, the ZBA investigation, the attorney is actually still gathering some additional documents.
Do we have an ETA at all, in sight, anywhere?
It depends on the party that he's reaching out to for the documents. He's reaching out to one other town to gather some documents, and I don't have any control over the other town on how long it may take them. He said every time he gathers some documents, something else comes to light in those documents that brings him into another direction.
I'm certainly not
So-
trying to have a hasty investigation. I mean, if we're in it to win it, then,
Well,
but.
that's important. We
But it
cannot
just
rush it.
feels
Yeah.
like it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And cell tower?
So the cell tower, basically, from what I understand, they are still waiting on National Grid to install that secondary circuit breaker. Actually, our assessor was out there today, just to get an idea of the area, and she did note to me that there are some issues with the fencing that they've put around it, and I'll reach out to the two people that I've been working with and can reach out to get information to have that fence more secure. She feels that it's very easy to get into that area, and could bring some harm to some people. if they can get in there. So we're gonna reach out to them tomorrow to secure that area. I'll also see where they are with getting that secondary circuit hooked up.
And I assume she's looped in our building inspector on that?
On the fencing?
Yeah.
I don't know if she did or not. She approached me tonight in the hallway about it. So I don't know if she's talked to him or not, but I'll reach out to my contacts with the cell tower and, see what we can do to secure that fence more.
And did anybody else on the board have any questions for Ms. Green before we move into executive session, adjourn and move into executive session? Okay. Well, I just want to thank you for the vote of confidence and, you know, please keep the lines of communication open, whatever I can do to help you guys on board. I'd be more than glad to do whatever information I can give you. As I'm sure the other, two members will do the same. It's a lot of information and a steep learning curve, but, you know, it's just to jump it right in and let's get to work, so. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn and to move into executive session and,
So moved.
okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor? Okay,
You get a roll
and,
call, don't you?
yep, roll call for executive.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will entertain a motion to enter into executive session in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21, sorry, I wrote over this, and Exception 3 to discuss strategy with respect to, why does this, it does say.
Yeah, collective bargaining.
This reason is not correct. This is, we need the litigation reason and not the collective bargaining reason.
It says or litigation, collective
Yeah,
bargaining.
collective bargaining or
okay.
litigation, so
All
this
right.
is right.
Or
yes.
litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and chair so declares, to wit, exception 3, 252 Lakeside Road. Again, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, okay, roll call vote,
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
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 okay, great.